Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome back to the spectacular World Chess Championship match between the two top grandmasters Ding Liren from China and Gukesh D from India. We're now in the round 3 of this epic chess event, in which we have to say we have seen beautiful 2 rounds already. The first round was really spectacular, where Ding Liren managed to win the first game with the black pieces in the French defense against Gukesh, and he took the lead. And then yesterday it was a calm game. It was a really nice gioco pianissimo, really accurate gioco pianissimo by both sides, where the players agreed to a draw after repeating 3 times the same position. Now in the round 3 again, Gukesh had the white pieces. I think it was a good situation for Gukesh that he didn't lose the game yesterday with black. He got the draw. He slowed down the pace a little bit of this event, because if Ding would have taken the lead with 2 points, this would be really hard for Gukesh to stop. So as I said, yesterday calm draw, and today maybe trying again something with the white pieces. Let's see now what happened. It was again a stunner in the round 3 already. Put your seatbelts on and enjoy now in this epic game between Gukesh and Ding Liren from the round 3 of the World Chess Championship match in 2024. So with white, Gukesh opened with the move d4. Ding's response was knight to f6. We have knight to f3, and after move d5 we have now the queen's pawns game, the symmetrical variation. But after a couple more moves and move c4, e6 and c takes d5, e takes d5, and knight to c3 and c6, the game transposes into the structures of the semi-Slav defense exchange variation. You can get the same position out of the semi-Slav defense, and when you trade off the c pawn, then also for the e pawn. So I think it's a normal setup where white is trying, of course, to undermine the pressure, to release the pressure in the center of the board, not allowing some dangerous d takes c4 stuff by black in any of these lines, in any of these defenses, or like queen's gambit decline, I don't know, semi-Slav defense, Slav defense, and similar stuff. So now after move c6, the position is fixed in the center of the board, and now here Gukesh goes into an interesting sideline with queen to c2, and I'm a big fan of this line. This is the most often line that I've played probably in this types of structures, queen to c2. So I would dare to say I know something about this position. So here after queen to c2, the issue about this move for black is that you cannot develop the light square bishop on a good square, and white would then continue with normal development. Bishop to g5, e3, bishop to d3, I don't know, maybe even h3. Then later you can still then have the flexibility to maybe even castle queenside, castle kingside. So queen to c2 is really nice, I would say, positional move that so far slows down the pace a little bit for black, slows down the development of black's pieces. And here Ding goes, of course, into the correct line with g6, is trying immediately, of course, to hit the queen here on f5. And I myself like now this continuation. I played very often with bishop to g5. Gukesh didn't play this line, but there is a trick. If, for instance, bishop to f5 happens immediately, I guarantee you this is not a good game anymore for black. Then you have queen to b3, and now after something like bishop to c8, you have this aggressive method. I don't want to dive now too deep into this line, but I've created also a couple of videos about this opening trap. e4 is a devastating position after d takes e4, knight to e5, and bishop to c4. The position, I guarantee, will collapse here for black. But okay, here after move g6, Gukesh tried a different idea. He tried now to move h3. He's preparing now different kind of an attack. He's preparing now flank attack with the move g4 on the king side. We have now bishop to f5. We have queen to b3, attacking now the pawn on b7. And now again, Ding goes into a very good line with queen to b6, which is a solid line, simplifying line for black. If, for instance, white in any of these lines takes, this wouldn't be good. Actually, black is even taking over. Would open simply the a file, and there are no several threats with bishop to b4, knight to e4, bishop to g7 can be even played. Maybe when you castle later, you can also try c5. So when this setup of queens here is like this, white should not take, because it would just improve the pawn structure here and also liberate the a file. So that's why here Gukesh kept it calm on the queen side, but played aggressively on the king side with the move g4. We have queen takes b3, a takes b3. Now the queens are off the board, but now Gukesh has this attacking opportunities here with the rook on the a file. We have now bishop to c2, an attack against the pawn, and now a very nice line here by Gukesh, bishop to f4. This is a beautiful move, and this move shows actually that there is some kind of a tension here. There is some kind of a possibility of even maybe a trap. I'm telling you this because this element now is very, very important for the rest of the game, because I want you to show, for instance, if what happens if you try bishop to b3. If you try to play bishop to b3, then you get knight to d2, and you can maybe step back to c2, but then you get attacked, and you see the bishop doesn't have good squares. The bishop actually will be trapped. That's the beauty about this knight to d2 stuff, if you cannot really pick up this pawn on b3. But what you could do maybe is to play bishop to c4, but again, knight to c4, I don't know, d takes c4, bishop to b8 is one line if you don't want to calculate too much. But I think the most progressive plan here was with the e3, and then we go for the pawn. Still there is the a file problem. We can also play aggressively, maybe later with the pawns. This bishop can be developed here, can also of course create some madness against the queen side. So this, after bishop to f4, this is very important now, really important theme that will be now present through the whole game. After bishop to f4, as we mentioned, this bishop has a tough time to get out of the square, because so far the b3 pawn cannot really be taken. So Ding continues now with h5, which is so far perfectly fine. Rook to g1, we have h takes g4, h takes g4, and interestingly here I wanted to say that Vladimir Kramnik and Arjun Ergaisi played here already the same line in 2023, but now Ding deviates from their game with the move knight to d7, which is perfectly fine. It's not a mistake in accuracy or something that Ding is doing. Perfectly fine to develop here the knight on d7. But in the game between Vladimir Kramnik and Arjun Ergaisi, Arjun took, which wasn't good really. The game ended with a draw, but Arjun actually made a mistake here with the move bishop to b3. Ding plays knight from b to d7, which is showing that he's well prepared also in this line. Great move here by Ding. Now comes this idea, knight to d2, protecting finally the pawn on b3, and preparing now maybe some lines like f3 and e4. We have now rook to g8, and now comes, I would say, the first tiny little critical moment of the game. So far, nothing spectacular is going on. The game should be about equal, but now Gukesh plays, I think, I would not say it's a mistake or something, but it was maybe a tiny little unnecessary move that he played. He played on the move g5. And what I didn't like about this move, okay, you're attacking the knight and you have now beautiful space advantage, but the issue is now that this square f5 is now finally free for the light square bishop. A slightly better choice, I would say, here is to play rook to c1, then after g5, then you retreat bishop to e3, and then if, for instance, bishop to e4 happens, you can maybe attack to trade it off here. After you can play, and maybe in this line, you could even improve your pawn structure. Actually, this line is even suggested by Top Engine. So here, after b takes c3, you would improve the pawn structure that was messed up till now. You still continue the game with the bishop pair. Again, I'm not saying Ding is losing or something because of this line, but this was maybe a slightly healthier, I would say, procedure here for white. But after g5, you see you haven't liberated now the square for the light square bishop, and there are no threats to trap anymore the bishop on f5. But again, I'm pointing out this bishop on c2 is now really the main object of this game. We have now knight to h5 here by the Ding. We have bishop to h2. Again, we have an equal position. Rook to h8, and now we have f3. With the preparation here to play the move e4. Again, maybe a slightly better way for Gukesh would have been to immediately develop the light square bishop. Then after something like knight to g7, you can go into a simplified line, maybe with bishop to d7, king to d7, bishop to f4, and then you could maybe try to attack the piece here, and then again to strike in the center with the move e4. This would be also a very interesting line to handle for black, because black would then have a weakness on f6. So I think if Gukesh has played maybe here this line with this aggressive g5 move, he should have gone maybe also for the f6 course, which was also an option. But he played f3, which again I think allows here black to get effectively into the game if black plays now the game correctly. First of all, here Ding played the correct knight to g7, and after bishop to g3, now comes the crucial, really the critical moment of the game. Here the real fun starts. So after bishop to g3, what Ding has to do is to play the move bishop to e7, and this is the only move that is actually good here, and black should be even slightly better because of this tiny little position nuances that we have talked about by Gukesh, that he played maybe a little bit inaccurate. After bishop to e7, here we have e4 that probably white would play. So bishop to e7, the only defensive move here for Ding. After move e4, d takes e4, d takes e4. The point is that you can play bishop to g5, and now if, for instance, rook to c1 happens, this motif is very important. Rook to c1. If this bishop gets attacked, then you have this one, bishop to d2, king to d2, and then you can pick up here, of course, the pawn on b3. You have to bring the Darsko bishop into the game. You have to get it into the attack. You have to attack this one that is controlling the b3 square. That's the only way. Maybe white can also, in this after bishop to g5, can try maybe the move b4 to get out of this attack, but then you play a calm knight to e6. Look at this, you're attacking the d4 pawn. Suddenly I would say it becomes an unpleasant position for white, not for black. Very after knight to f3, you play bishop to e3. So you see the position is very dynamic now, with good opportunities here for black. And actually, as I mentioned, black should be slightly better. So after bishop to g3, here what Ding did, instead of bishop to e7, he played now rook to h5. And this was the critical mistake, because now Gukesh locks now the bishop with e4. This bishop is out of game, and Ding didn't notice that. He played now d takes e4. We have f takes e4, knight to e6, again attacking the pawn on d4. But now Gukesh calculated everything in a good way. Rook to c1. This is working. We had in the first game, I think, by Gukesh some problems because he somehow miscalculated some tactics in his game. I'm not sure what happened to him. Usually he can really calculate in the proper way, but now again he calculated like a machine here. Rook to c1 is working because after knight to d4 you just get an attack against the knight that is now the defender of the bishop on c2, and the position is suddenly collapsing. Look at this, the position is collapsing here for Ding, and look at this time management by Ding Liren. He was already low on clock. He had 21 minutes on the clock, and he still cannot reach time control because we're now in move 22, and in move 40 he gets additional time, and no increment is so far in the game. So very tough now position to handle for Ding after bishop to f2. Obviously he's going to lose a piece here. Gukesh deflects simply also the knight now finally from the defense of the bishop. We have now knight takes b3. Okay, meanwhile you get a couple of pawns, but this piece is lost. Knight takes d2 and king takes d2 leads now into this endgame in which Gukesh has an extra piece for 2 lost pawns, which is of course a much better position. This should be actually completely winning endgame here for white. After king takes d2, knight to e5, we have knight to d4, rook to d8. Gukesh gets out of the attack on the d file. We have rook to h2, and now after bishop to g2, calm setup here by white, a6, and now b3 also controlling here the c4 square for the knight. So here Gukesh is not rushing, he's not complicating things, he's proving, well, first of all of the pieces, but you see Ding's time was not better. He's now only on 11 minutes. We have now king to rook to d7, rook to c1, king to e7, and of course now a calm rook to d1. After rook to d1, but now bishop to g3, a nice attack here against the rook. The rook has to step back, and now knight to f3, knight takes f3, king to f3. We have now bishop to d4, and now after rook to h1, now comes another mistake here by Ding. Here after rook to h1, he should have played rook to h1, trying somehow to battle after rook to h1, bishop to c3. Okay, maybe you're down a piece, but okay, in any of the slides we can, I think, agree that white should be much better. Bishop to f4, king to e7, king to e2. So okay, you're battling, but you're somehow keeping yourself in the game. But Ding went for another pawn under time pressure. And look at this, Ding is now only on 9 seconds on the clock, and here bishop to h3. Great move by Gukesh, because if you play here rook to d8, then you get lined up like this. Then you get bishop to h4, and that's why after bishop to h3 Ding tried f5, but now after bishop to f4 and rook to h5, actually Ding ran out of time, and it was game over. over here for black. So Gukesh wins now the game 3 of the FIDE World Chess Championship match in 2024. Gukesh is back. Great game he played today. Great aggressive style that he performed with this early flank attack with the move g4 again. Very sharp game. If he continues to play like this so aggressively, I'm not sure how Ding Liren is in the game with stamina. Maybe stamina is, I think, a huge advantage for Gukesh here. I would say that's now his huge advantage, because Ding, we saw, played a perfect game 1, but can he really perform like this in over 40 games? That's the big question now, I think, after round 3. Huge blunder he made, allowed here Gukesh this beautiful attack, and suddenly we have again an equal result. It's really becoming a game now. This will be really an immortal and incredible World Chess Championship match in 2024. Congratulations to Gukesh for winning this game, because he needed this confidence again. I think after the first round he wasn't really probably satisfied, but now he's back in the game, so we'll have a game for sure. So okay, if you want to see some other games that we have analyzed from this event, check out our first 2 games, the first winning game by Ding and also the second drawish game. And if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos, and what do we say in the end? Chess is the best, of course.